Hi, welcome back to Mental Override. My name is Adam, and I teach you how to overcome fear and live intentionally. Now, Mental Override. Why do we want to use this? Why do we want to overcome fear? Well, there's three things that you're never going to get back when it's gone. Number one, your health. When your health is gone, you may never get it back. And it's gone, it's gone. Number two, your time. Time goes by, you can't get it back once you've spent it. You wake up every day with 24 hours. Once you spend them, they're gone. And number three is opportunity. Opportunities come and go. Sometimes we can create opportunity. Sometimes opportunity is happen chance. Sometimes we create our own luck. I have a talk on creating your own luck. But I wanted to mention these three things because I think they're important for a reason. See, if you want to have an intentional life, there's going to be these three limiting factors. Your health is going to limit everything that you're capable of. Even if you want to go skiing in the Alps, you want to go for a mountain bike ride, you want to go for water skiing with your children, if your health is gone, you're not going to be able to do that. You can't have that intention. So investing in your health now is going to give you those opportunities later. Number two, your time. How we organize our time. There are things we can do in our 30s and 40s that we won't be able to do in our 70s and 80s. There are things in our 20s that we won't be able to do in our 30s. So how do you value your time? What are you willing to sacrifice? How much time are you willing to give up to create future opportunities, to have delayed gratification? Delayed gratification is also one of the ways in which you can develop mental override. You exercise a decision, you sit in that uncomfortableness, but you can have a vision, a future thought of what you're going to receive. And the last one's opportunity. Opportunities come and go. If we don't have the health and we don't have the time, when your friends ask you, hey, we're going to go on this backpacking trip to Europe, are you going to be able to do it? I know for me, in my early 30s, I had an opportunity to travel Europe. I had an opportunity to go to Buckingham Palace and meet the Queen, Elizabeth, and Prince Charles. I got to do a battlefield tour all over England, France, Belgium, was able to go to Passchendaele, Normandy. And my point here is that opportunities will come and go. And if we're not conscious of our health and we're not conscious of our time and aware of these opportunities, we won't be able to take advantage of them. These opportunities can just come and go. So one of the lenses we want to look at mental override through is these three things. How do I value my time? How do I value my health? And how do I value opportunities? Because we only have one life. And so a lot of the time, the reason we don't take advantage of these things is because of fear. We're afraid to spend our time doing something. We're afraid to take an opportunity that comes that seems risky. A lot of time, risks has rewards. And fear, the concept we have of fear, what we think, false expectations appearing real, the consequence of the fear itself tends to be far greater than dealing with the consequences of what we feared. So if you feared going on a mountain bike trip because you figured, I might get hurt. Well, what if you do? And then you deal with the hurt. And that experience was far less stressful than actually being afraid of doing it and worrying, should I go, should I not? So having an intentional life, you have to be conscious of these three things. You have to be conscious of your time, your experiences, and your health. And I think health is the primary one because it determines the quality of every experience you want to have in life. Now, the reason we want to practice mental override is specifically so that we can execute these decisions, so we can execute the things that we want, so we have a conscious mentality of the things that we want in life. See, so many people are going through life right now being programmed by the tell me vision, or the television as I call it. I got rid of my television 10 years ago. My living room is a giant rug full of foam rollers, my journals, my kids' journals, my Theragun, my yoga mats, my Knobbler, all these things to take care of my health so that I can have the experiences I want to have. And again, looking at society, it's telling us to consume, consume, consume. And so if you're buying things that you don't need to impress people that you don't know, with money that you don't have, with time that you'll never get back, you're living a life that is being dictated by the world around you. If you want to take control of your life, if you want to take your life back and have what you want to have in life, you need to stop, take some time on the bench, and think about what it is you want. Now, there is ways to do that. I think journaling is one of the number one ways. If you're not journaling, there's no way you're going to have intention in your life. To hold the mental capacity to be on a trajectory where you have intention and you're conscious of your time, you're conscious of your opportunities, and you're conscious of your health is very difficult. One of the ways to get around this, I would say, is to build a routine. For example, for me, I have a pretty strict morning routine. I wake up and I say to my kids, hey, attitude of gratitude. Or I just say attitude and they respond with gratitude. Because we want to start our day with some thankfulness that we have another day. We want to recognize the opportunity that we have, because today's opportunity is gone tomorrow. After that, I usually do some journaling. I sit down, I have a coffee, I get outside, I get grounded, and I do some journaling, and I have a specific journal that I work on that we could talk about at another time. And after that, I've set my intentions for the day. I've made a list of all the things, all the priorities that I want to have and the experiences I want to have for the day. Now, throughout the week, each day kind of has a different focus. For example, Sundays is like my self-care day. I really focus on self-care and on my spiritual side. On Mondays, I set my actions for the week. I choose what actions am I going to take, because action is the only way to have change. Action is the only way that we can have something different in our lives. Now, things can happen to us, I get that, and we react, but intentional actions is the way to have mental override, to execute mental override. We decide, what is it that I want? Why do I want this? What do I believe about this? How can I see myself executing this? Maybe what's my inherited belief? What did I think I could or couldn't do? Because whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. And then lastly, what's the action I'm going to take to have the outcome that I want to have? And sometimes we have to do it in bite-sized pieces. Sometimes we have to make big decisions and big leaps. And then fear gets in the way. So I talk a lot about exercises. What are the exercises? Well, number one, it's actually setting intention, because it's not a feeling, it's a decision. Like the Tin Man, like the Lion in the Wizard of Oz, you don't get the courage before you do it. You make a decision. And a lot of times the feeling inherently will be fear. After you make the decision and the plan to execute, you get the feeling then. You get the dopamine hit, you get the serotonin that wells up inside you and reinforces your ability to practice mental override. Another one of these exercises is like delayed gratification. So you can go for a workout, you do something really hard and you see the results later on. Things like cold plunges. If you're doing a cold plunge, your body instinctively tells you this is wrong, this feels bad, I'm uncomfortable. So you intentionally put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, and you know physically you're gonna be okay, yet your emotions and your body are telling you the opposite. So learning to be uncomfortable with that situation. Everyone says, there's great health benefits to cold plunges and hot saunas. That's true, but there's a mental benefit to that as well, and that is mental override. Another thing is your routine. Being in the military, we had a very disciplined routine, and that's how, in one of the ways, we built courage. A lot of times we default to what we practice. So what are you practicing? My challenge to you, what are you practicing on a day-to-day? Do you set your intentions in the morning? Are you waking up and rushing off to work and building someone else's dreams? Because if you're not building your own, you're going to be paid to build someone else's. And in our society, a lot of the times, businesses, companies are going to extract as much of the resource of your time your time span, the resources of your ability to profit themselves or to profit those who are higher up in the chain. Now, it's not always the case. There are some businesses that have different structures, but generally speaking, that's the case. So if you're listening to this message, if you're someone who wants to overcome fear to live intentionally, if you're someone who wants to have a life that they've dreamed of, have the best life possible, you only get one. Why not go all in on yourself, make some decisions about what you want to do, what you want to have, and most importantly, who you want to become. I touched on this in one of the other talks, and who you want to become is your character. It holds space for all the things that you want to do. So let's say you have your health, you have your time, you've made some financial decisions that are intelligent, but you're not a patient person. You're not a disciplined person. Do you think you can climb a mountain safely? Do you think you can clip in your beaners, your belay device, all the things you need to do if you don't have discipline? Let's say you're arrogant, you're prideful, and you don't take the advice. Easy to slip off a cliff, easy to go at the wrong time. So character, choosing who your character is and understanding who you are, getting to know yourself, getting to know a bit about yourself is a critical area as well. So many of these topics I've mentioned in Mental Override, I'll do the shorts on them, where I'll sit down and I'll do some of these longer talks where we can discuss in depth. If you have any questions about Mental Override, or if you want to learn how I execute it so that I have the intentional life that I want, email me at mental-override@hotmail.com. You can contact me there. Message me in the comments below. Like, subscribe, put something down there. Ask, share with me what you're trying to get over. Share with me what you are trying to accomplish in your life. I'll leave a link in the bottom below for the email. But my job is to help people overcome fear and live intentionally. The years I had in the military taught me a lot about overcoming fear and being intentional with my actions in spite of danger, fear, and consequence. I consider myself to be an expert in this area. I've had numerous life experiences, from traveling the world to teaching at a high-performance driving school to doing mountain bike racing, race car driving, mountaineering, playing nearly every sport under the sun, from football, pickleball, basketball, baseball, trying to experience the fullness of life. And each of these activities has taught me mental override and given me the ability to become fearless in what it is I want in life. Now, that isn't without exception. There are times where I do feel fear, but I know that through my habits and routines, through my weekly habits and routines, I've built the capacity and the muscle to overcome these things. So if you're interested in growing and overcoming fear and exercising mental override, stay tuned into these messages, and I'll try to bring you more and more each week where we can talk about being intentional in your life, recognizing what's going on in this world, how our time can be stolen from us, how the life we want can be taken from us, especially through fear and consumerism. Then just tune in for more, and I'll keep bringing it to you. Other than that, enjoy your guys' weekend, use mental override, and live intentionally.